Welcome everyone. This is the first episode of LJ News. Today's story is De Blasio, I think I pronounced it right, is shifting away from funding the NYPD due to current events. And I brought four sources, which is Fox News, New York Times, COLI, and Anash.org. All these four sources will be posted in the description below. So let's first start with an story. Mayor Bill de Blasio announced on Sunday will be taking funding from the NYPD to instead support local youth groups, yielding to a key demand of protesters. Mayor Bill de Blasio announced on Sunday, this is Sunday, yesterday, that he will be taking funding from the NYPD to instead support local youth groups, conceding to the main demand of protesters. This is from Anash.org, so it's pretty short. This morning we committed to move resources from NYPD to youth and social services as part of our city's budget. Our young people need to be reached, not policy. And we can do this and keep our city safe, the mayor tweeted earlier, yesterday. The mayor did not disclose how much money was being diverted or which groups would receive extra funding, saying details would work out the budget process the weeks ahead. Other police reforms they're planning, including moving directors and first offenders to civilized agencies. Okay, so basically, for some reason, I don't know exactly why, in my opinion, this is not smart. He's taking money from the funding of the NYPD for youth programs. That's what we have from Anash.org. Link will be in the description. Now let's move on to COLI. COLI reporter gives us a story. Who is he trying to please? Mayor Bill de Blasio announced on Sunday it will be shifting funds away from New York Police Department, which he connected to the aftermath of days of protest or the date of George Floyd in Minneapolis. George Floyd was a man who was racistly and brutally killed by a cop by putting his knee on his neck. And he even said, "I can't breathe," but he still kept his knee down and he died. The details will be worked out in the budget process in the weeks ahead, but I want people to understand that we're committed to shifting resources to ensure that the focus in our young people don't release society. I will also confirm that we only do know whether certain continue the city will also be safe. The New York Times reported that the mayor made his pledge to following 10 nights of mass protest against police violence and mounting demands for an overhaul of the police department. Last week, the police was booed off stage at a George Floyd rally in Brooklyn. I hope he's not trying to make it seem like that was his calling. Anthony Backford, president of Black Lives Matter Brooklyn, told the New York Times. They have called for at least $1 billion to come from police department. That was basically one of our major demands, one of many. I'm strongly opposed to defund NYPD, Yaakov Berman, director of the Brooklyn-based Jewish Future Alliance, sent in response. I found the rhetoric against NYPD deeply problematic. These men or women are in blue, put their lives in line every day to protect the city. Fire dirty cops and hold them accountable, but you don't dare cause any harm to stupid ones, he said. There's a clip here. Let's watch it. It's an hour. So from we understand from Anash.org and COLI that he's taking so from Anash.org we figured out why where is he taking from, why is he getting. COLI we figured out how much money and the reason. The reason was George Floyd, and it said at least $1 billion to pick up from police department. Okay, now let's see the New York Times. This is an article by Donna Rubenstein. You could get the link in the description. Mayor de Blasio on Sunday pledged for the first time to cut on city's police funding following 10 nights of mass protests against police violence and mounting demands for the overhaul department whose racist. Dang it. It's recording, right? Yup, it's been recording. there. Okay, from me. So this is an article from New York Times by Dan Rubenstein. So this was yesterday on June 7, 2020. Mayor Doubleday on Sunday pledged for the first time to cut on the city's police funding following 10 nights of mass protests against police violence and mounting demands that he overhaul its department, whose tactics have caused widespread consultation. The mayor declined to say precisely how much funding he planned to divert to social service from the New York Police Department, which had an annual budget of $6 billion, representing more than 6% of Mr. de Blasio's proposed $90 billion budget. Mr. de Blasio said the details will be worked out with the City Council in advance of July 1 budget deadline. We're committed to seeing a shift of funding to youth services to social service that will happen literally in the course of the next 3 weeks. So I'm not going into detail because it's subject to neglect and we should figure out what makes sense, Mr. de Blasio said. As early on Friday, Mr. de Blasio expressed skepticism about cutting police funding, even if he noted that all city agencies might face cuts in a more financed federal government. So far what we learned out is that it's not only for youth, for social also. And this didn't start yesterday on Sunday, it already started on Friday they were thinking about it. His Sunday morning reversal was on 2 shifts in his stand towards protesters, and only morning he announced on Twitter that New York City's first curfew since World War II would end effectively. I'm just going to stop there. World War II. New York did not have a curfew since World War II. A day earlier than planned, he attributed the course of correction as belief that protests have become more peaceful in recent days. The mayor's announcement in favor of the budget cuts represents the latest turn in Brad's relationship with the police department. Mr. Blasio campaigned for the morality and twelfth and promise of reforming the department has grown in controversy over its aggressive of us stopping to frisk in communities of color. He made his wife, who was African American, his children central to his campaign. By the time he took office, to use the stop frisking already fallen sharply. So I'm just going to pause for a second to thank our sponsors, Franklin Turtle Army on Discord. Go on to the description below and you will find the link. Join today. Franklin the Turtle on Discord. It's an army for everyone. During his first year in office, Eric Garner died in a police chokehold in State Island, and his final word was, "I can't breathe," being a rally cry for executive response around the country. Does this remind you of something? I don't know. Remind you of something that happened a few days ago, like last week. George Floyd, same thing. He said, "I can't breathe." Mr. de Blasio tried to emphasize with protesters, telling reporters that he had advised his son Dante on how to take special care during interactions with officers. And later that month, 2 police officers were fatally shot in Brooklyn while they're sitting in their patrol car. A police union leader said de Blasio had blood on his hands. Police officers. So lots of things happen. People are mad at cops for brutality of the man who killed George Floyd. Police officers turned their backs on the mayor when he attended the officers' funerals. Even that provided to be a turning point in the de Blasio administration, making the mayor more eager to accommodate the department. Now, Mr. Blasio is facing a possible $9 billion budget gap and significant unrest with his own administration over handling both the coronavirus crisis and the mass demonstrations following the Minneapolis police killing of George Floyd. As I said, many protesters and opponents have accused the police department of using violence tactics during the unrest while enforcing curfew, which began Monday. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Office said that Sunday was investigating 2 police officers over their actions during the demonstration. So basically, what we learned out from the rest of the part, my opinion is that since he took office, 2 of these things happened. One was, let's see where that was. During the first year, I'm quoting again, during the first year he took office, Eric Garner died in a police chokehold on State Island, and his final words were, "I can't breathe." Same thing happened a few weeks ago. Very weird. I don't know. Seems like it's the same reason they're protesting, and he's trying to Maybe he's trying to deal with it how he dealt with it then. Maybe, who knows? One officer was seen on video shoving a female protester who fell on the street and hit her head. The other officer was seen on video removing a protester mask and spraying him. Well, me. On Saturday, I do understand the cops, but you're just promoting police brutality. No, no joke, no point. You're just making more protesters by saying, if the military comes, okay. Actually, they might come. They can't stop them. But you're just promoting more police brutality. On Saturday, dozens of police at the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice signed a statement demanding that Mr. de Blasio support several police policing reforms, including a ban of use chokeholds as police proposed to the City Council. I would agree with that, totally. Well, legislation, which is believed to have veto-proof majority in the council, will criminalize the use of chokehold by law enforcement, make it easier for district attorneys to prosecute infractions. Mr. de Blasio has resigned, signing the measure unless it includes an exemption for officers in life-threatening situations. He did not address the issue in an announcement on Sunday, which he said that I think it was Sunday was the day that he said he's going to cut back on police. As soon as the process was starting, we felt such a disconnect because we're supposed to be the ones out there figuring this stuff out. We went to the second change better, said one of the letters signatories who wanted to remain anonymous for reasons of self-protection. We were left leaderless. You did. The statement came on the heels of June 3rd letter signed by hundreds of former and current staffers demanding that Mr. de Blasio cut police funding by $1 billion. So before it said $9 billion, he's going to cut back $1 billion, so it'll be $8 billion. In a apparent effort to quell rising internal unrest on Saturday morning, Mr. de Blasio sent an email to staff assuring them that he and his wife Charlie McCray understand how deeply this moment hurts. We are here for you, reads the letter, which is acquired by the New York Times. We'll never stop fighting for you. Black Lives Matter in New York City. Trying. I don't think that would have done anything. On Sunday, Mr. de Blasio's Chief of Staff, Emma Wolf, organized a remote meeting between the mayor, Ms. McCray, and staff members. McCray. Sorry. Mr. de Blasio and his wife arrived 15 minutes late to the video conference meeting, one attendee said. Mr. McCray spoke first. Miss McCray spoke first. According to the audio recording of this event, she and Mr. de Blasio repeated many of the same points they made in more public settings, that they have been facing a perfect storm of challenges, and Mr. de Blasio, above all, wanted to prevent any process-related deaths and more police officers or faint measures. It may be true that people in government that every day also conflicts with deepest challenges. So they're just going on and on. This basically he made the city. A lot of people once signed this thing demanding that Mr. de Blasio cut police department by $1 billion. It originally was $9 billion. I think they wanted it down to $8 billion. Yeah. He sent out an email to staff assuring them that his wife and they, of course, understand how bad this is. And also, if you're going to pepper spray people, try to do it nicely because you're just promoting police brutality. That's literally what you're doing. Even if you're not trying, that's all you're doing. Feels like he's trying, but it ain't going to work. And he also came 15 minutes late to the video. It doesn't seem like he really cared about it. No offense, sir. I don't know. He's just showing that he isn't trying, and he just doesn't seem like he's very selfish. So we already see what he did, how much money he took, and to where it's going. And now we kind of know we're getting into deep police. So first, he cut back from police for child and social groups, and he cut back about $1 billion. In total, they got $9 billion from his $96 billion. $9 billion, and they want to come back $1 billion from his. It wasn't him actually. It was the city, like the people that signed letter that wanted him to join. I mean, like, they should sign it, and they should. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he really cares at all. In my opinion, guys. It doesn't seem like he cares at all. Mr. de Blasio didn't take any questions directly from the staff members, but did respond to some questions that his spokeswoman, Freddie Goldstein, said deputy mayors solely from staffing events. Government is incredibly hard, he told employees. Mr. de Blasio asserted on Sunday that he would redirect some police funding routes. Was met with some skepticism from both protesters and police leaders. He paired the proposal with a handful of ideas, including removing street vendors and forcing the police to find the purview. We're just getting far and far. Doesn't seem like he cares at all. He doesn't really care. It doesn't seem like. We're just waiting for today to see what his next answer is going to be. He's probably going to speak today too. That's New York Times. You can see that in the description, the link to that. Okay, now let's go to Fox News. The link is in the description. Let's go. It isn't as long, don't worry. I'm screening you guys. In the wake of George Floyd's death, call to refund the police matters today escalated from 50 campaigns to doubly backed calls to participate part in the municipal mainstream and now appear primed to spur official elections of varying degrees in cities across the country. Once again, our sponsors of tonight is Franklin the Turtles Army on Discord. You can check out the link in the description. Sponsors of today. It's a steady moment to find a movement that fueled Republican criticism that radical ideas are being rarely embraced by Democrats. Now we're being Democrats, huh? Okay, so Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey faced a crowd of protesters asking him whether he would support abolishing the city's police department. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey rejects city council's push to defund police despite veto-proof majority. So he's kind of acting like Bill de Blasio, who we don't know if he did it yet, but here he rejects the option to do it. Los Angeles Times, this is from Fox News, they're quoting Los Angeles Times play last week in Los Angeles. No. I think we're going to use Fox News. I'm going to cut Fox News. Okay, buddy, so I'm going to give my opinion on what I heard today. So, Bill de Blasio, I think it's not him. People are signing that he should cut back from police funding from $9 billion to $8 billion minus $1 billion from his $96 billion. It's not him, it's people signing there. And so he pledged for the first time, actually. And so we're going to see how this is going to work out. People aren't really, it doesn't seem like people, from what I read these articles, doesn't seem like people really think he's going to do it. So, I think nobody really believes he's going to do this, and everyone's just doing it because of the George Floyd protests, and also Mayor of Minneapolis also. I don't think, he's trying to probably, he's also not doing it, and this just today is a story that the cutback to because of this, and we'll just saw that police are just being brutal. I'm giving you a tip. If you hear this, don't be that. You're just promoting police brutality. That's all I got today, and this is LJ News, latest Jewish news, including other stories. Find the links to the sponsors, Regulatory Harmony, and the articles in the description. Thank you, and have a